So we're coming to the last section of our class today. We've learnt a lot about ourselves, haven't we? And now it's time to ask ourselves, can I hold myself to a commitment? How can I be more effective and accountable? And there are 5 ways in which you could follow through on your goals. The first thing is divide and conquer. You know, in Africa, many nations were colonialized by divide and conquer. I urge you to look at a goal, divide and conquer it by breaking it into small, achievable steps. That's the first thing. Divide the big goal into pieces and then conquer it. Because if you try and eat an elephant in one gulp, it's impossible. And guess what? When a goal is as large as an elephant, you actually get overwhelmed with the thought of conquering it. So slice it into small pieces, small measurable targets, and actually make them time-bound and then go ahead and achieve them. The second thing is put fear in its place. What does fear mean? False evidence appearing real. There'll be many scary moments where when you think about your goal, you think, goodness, how did I set such a goal? But I want to challenge you. Set goals that make you almost doubt yourself, because they're the ones that are called stretch goals, big, audacious goals. They're the ones that actually grow you. The third thing is be realistic. Expect setbacks. There will be challenges in your plan that sometimes will make you not move forward as quickly as you expected. I encourage you in those setbacks, learn the lesson and trust the process. Which then brings us to the fourth one. Learn along the way. Don't say, I will only learn when I hit the mark. Leadership is a journey, not a destination. So learn what it is you need to learn at every point of the milestones. And the fifth one, we just talked about accountability. Shout it from the rooftops to the people who matter. I encourage you here with caution, don't share all your goals in social media, in a space where you're not sure who you're sharing them with. Share them in a wise, discreet way to people who will hold you accountable. So those are 5 ways in which you can follow through on your goals. But let's talk about those goals specifically, because I hope that there's a personal leadership habit that you've committed to actually start, continue doing, so as to become an effective leader. So let's look at a couple of those. Now, when we're looking at a couple of those, let's look at my personal financial management. Spend less than you earn. These are just some ideas around the habits and the commitments you could make. The best time to start was yesterday. The worst time to start is tomorrow. So there's no time like now. Nobody can help you in the area of personal financial management except yourself. You could see the financial expert. But even as you see the financial expert, you're the one who has to incorporate the goals and the ideas that you learn from the financial expert. I encourage you to build multiple streams of income. That does not mean do anything unethical. And ensure that even as you build those multiple streams of income, what in some countries people call hustling, I encourage you to ensure that there's no conflict of interest. And then the golden rule when it comes to personal financial habits is do everything in moderation. These are some ideas around how you can strengthen your personal financial management. Let's look at time, and I know our time is running up now. Think about 8 habits of highly productive people. The first one, focus on the important. Cut away the unimportant. Cut off the fluff. The second one, allocate breaks strategically, especially when you're tired, rest, so that you can renew your well-being and energies. The third one, remove productivity pit stops. That means productivity drainers. These are the ones that limit your productivity. And what happens is that you're unable to start off your momentum once again. The fourth one, tap into your inspiration. What is it that inspires you? What is it that motivates you? Is it music? Is it doing some community work? Is it gardening? I don't know. But whatever it is, tap into it so that it can renew your well-being. The fifth one, don't make yourself too accessible. Create barriers to entry. I know one team in a place I worked where between 8 and 10, they call it quiet time. It was difficult for the rest of us to understand this quiet time. But interestingly, it made them a lot more effective, and they were able to deal with some of the challenges and problems that would give them for them to solve because of that quiet time when they were inaccessible. So create barriers to entry. The sixth one, optimize time pockets. Make the best of every minute. The seventh, set timelines. Don't leave it open-ended. so that you can get things done and close on them. And the 8th one, where you can automate everything possible. That's why in the bank you have processes. That's why you have the systems you have. It's because it's supposed to enable us make work easier. Now, if you're thinking about this commitment, these are just some ideas around your personal finances and your personal productivity. Remember that an ounce of practice is generally worth more than a ton of theory. So let's make this practical. And to make it practical, I encourage you to be the kind of person who never misses a deadline. I think that in leadership and management, a personal brand is created when someone says they'll do something and does it. So the only way you can do that is understand that you can't do everything at once. Stop underestimating how long it will take you. Build in some slack time because of eventualities that you couldn't see. Be honest with yourself when you're late and communicate it. Set a personal consequence for running late. Start working on a project as soon as you receive it. You know this guy called procrastination? Avoid him at all costs. Trick yourself into an earlier deadline. Say, it's due next week, I'll finish by Friday. And remember what we talked about, breaking, divide and conquer? Break a big assignment into a shorter timelines. And lastly, build your timeliness toolbox. In other words, skills that can help you deliver. Because at the end of it all, it's one thing to know all these things. It's another thing to deliver. So what is your one key goal for 2016 to grow as a leader? Think about one person who you can be accountable to. And remember, this goal means that you grow as a leader, but you also live your values and the bank's values. So think about that person. Remember, commitments means staying loyal to what you said you were going to do long after the mood you said it in has left you. I'm hoping that this program has helped you create the right mood. But I'm hoping that the things you've learned will strengthen your commitment long beyond the time you've taken to watch this. So ladies and gentlemen, accept responsibility for your actions. Be accountable for your results and take ownership of your mistakes. That is where true leadership truly begins. So choose who you're going to be accountable to, write the name, write down your commitment, and then within the next 48 hours, speak to that person about the commitment you have made from what you've learned from this module. And then talk about how they need to hold you accountable, how often you're going to report back, and how you're going to raise your ability to be responsible. Have you thought about it? Have you written it down? Is it clear and crystal? Make a point within 48 hours to report to this person. And that is raising your leadership accountability and commitment. So now we are getting to the close of this module. And I want to leave you with Nelson Mandela, who said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." I wish you the very best in this leadership journey of authenticity from self-leadership to all the way to managing the business and managing your teams. Thank you.